Once upon a time, there was a kingdom unlike any other. It was called the Kingdom of Fools. The king and his minister were known for their foolish decisions. One day, they decided to change the way things worked. They decreed that day would be night and night would be day. The people were confused. They were used to sleeping at night and working during the day, but they were too scared to disobey their king. So they tried to adjust to this absurd new rule. They woke up when the rooster crowed at night. They went to work under the moonlight. The kingdom was turned upside down. But nobody dared to question the wisdom of the king and his minister. After all, they were the rulers, and their word was law, no matter how foolish it seemed. One day, a wise guru and his disciple arrived at the Kingdom of Fools. They had traveled far and wide, spreading their wisdom. They were tired and hungry and decided to rest in the kingdom for a while. As they entered the city gates, they were surprised by what they saw. People were going about their daily business in the middle of the night. The shops were open and the markets were bustling. The sun was shining brightly in the sky, but everyone acted as if it were night. The disciple was astonished. He had never seen anything like this before. He turned to his guru and asked, "Master, what kind of a place is this? Why are people behaving so strangely?" The guru smiled. He had heard tales of this kingdom and its eccentric rulers. This was a place where logic and reason took a back seat. He patted his disciple's shoulder and said, "My child, we have entered the kingdom of fools. We must tread carefully here." The guru and the disciple soon learned about the kingdom's other strange rule. Everything cost just one gold coin. A measure of rice cost the same as a piece of jewelry. A donkey was priced the same as a horse. The disciple was amazed. He could not understand how this system worked. He asked his guru, "Master, how can everything have the same price? This makes no sense." The guru explained that in the kingdom of fools, logic had no place. He warned his disciple to be cautious. This absurd rule could lead to unforeseen consequences. Despite the guru's warnings, the disciple saw an opportunity in this bizarre system. He could buy expensive items for a fraction of their worth. He was tempted to take advantage of this foolish rule. The guru decided to move on. However, the disciple was reluctant to leave. He saw the potential for profit in the kingdom's absurd economic system. The disciple pleaded with his guru, "Master, let me stay here for a while. I can make a fortune in this place." The guru advised against it. He knew that the kingdom's foolishness would ultimately lead to trouble. He warned his disciple, "Greed will lead you down a dangerous path. This kingdom is governed by folly. What seems like a blessing can quickly turn into a curse." The disciple, blinded by greed, ignored his guru's warnings. He was determined to make the most of this opportunity. He bid farewell to his master, promising to rejoin him soon. Little did he know that his decision would land him in great peril. Section 5. Death at an unusual hour. The disciple was enjoying his time in the kingdom of fools. He was living lavishly, buying whatever he wanted with his gold coins. One day a wealthy merchant died. It was midday, but according to the kingdom's rules, it was midnight. The merchant's family began to wail in mourning, as was the custom. However, their cries were cut short by the arrival of the king's guards. The guards were furious. They arrested the family for breaking the law. They declared, "Silence! How dare you mourn during the day? You have disturbed the peace of our kingdom." The disciple watched in disbelief as the guards dragged the bewildered family towards the palace. He was beginning to realize that the kingdom of fools was no place for logic or justice. Section 6. A comedy of errors and accusations. The merchant's family was brought before the foolish king. They were accused of causing a disturbance during the day. The king, puzzled, asked his ministers, "Who should be punished for this man's death? We need someone to answer for the crime." The ministers huddled together. After much discussion, they came up with an absurd conclusion. They pointed at the wall and declared, "Your Majesty, the wall is responsible for the merchant's death. It must be punished." The king, pleased with their quick thinking, agreed. He ordered the wall to be punished. The disciple watched in astonishment. He realized the danger of this ridiculous situation. He tried to leave the court, hoping to avoid getting entangled in this madness. Tai. Section 7. The Guru's wisdom prevails. As the disciple turned to leave, the guards stopped him. They accused him of being the dead merchant's last meal. They claimed that he had eaten a hearty breakfast at the merchant's house. This, they argued, must have caused the merchant's death. The disciple was terrified. He pleaded his innocence, but the guards wouldn't listen. They dragged him before the king. The king, convinced of the disciple's guilt, ordered his execution. The disciple, desperate, called out for his guru. As if by divine intervention, the guru appeared. He had a plan to save his disciple. The guru stepped forward and addressed the king. "Your Majesty," he said, "I can prove that my disciple is innocent." Section 8. The Fall of the Foolish. The guru, with a twinkle in his eye, proposed a plan. He suggested that they feed the condemned disciple a hearty meal. He argued that if the disciple was indeed the merchant's last meal, the food would not be digested. The king, intrigued by this suggestion, agreed. The disciple was force-fed a large meal. The guru, using his wit, made sure that the food was quickly expelled from the disciple's stomach. The king, seeing the undigested food, was convinced of the disciple's innocence. The guru then pointed out the absurdity of their laws and judgments. He exposed the foolishness of the king and his ministers. The king, realizing the error of his ways, was overcome with shame. Section 9. Dawn of a New Day. The king's heart was filled with remorse. He apologized to the disciple and the merchant's family. He realized the extent of his folly and the injustice he had inflicted upon his people. He knew he had to set things right. The king immediately ordered the release of all those wrongly imprisoned. He repealed all the foolish laws, including the one that reversed day and night. With the guru's help, he established a just and sensible rule. The kingdom of fools was no more. It was now a land where wisdom and justice prevailed. The people rejoiced, grateful for the return to normalcy. They had learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of foolish leadership. Section 10. Lessons from the Land of Fools. The tale of the Kingdom of Fools is a timeless reminder that wisdom and justice are essential for any ruler. It highlights the dangers of blind obedience and the importance of questioning absurdity. The story teaches us that foolishness in leadership can have disastrous consequences. The king's absurd decrees caused chaos and injustice, highlighting the need for wise and just rulers. Wisdom and cunning can overcome even the most ridiculous obstacles. The guru's clever plan saved his disciple and exposed the absurdity of the kingdom's justice system. Blindly following rules without questioning their logic can lead to trouble. The people's initial acceptance of the reversed day and night highlights the dangers of unquestioning obedience. The story of the Kingdom of Fools serves as a cautionary tale for all. It reminds us to be critical thinkers, question absurdity, and strive for wisdom in our own lives.